what we have in what we had in the previous class. We have studied the parabolas geometrically and algebraically, and of course we have also mentioned the shifted parabolas, which is in fact from 12.4. When you have a parabola, shabab, you have a focus, directrix, a vertex, axis. The parabola is the set of all the points in the plane that they have equidistance from the focus and the directrix. طبعا we have classified our in our previous class, we have classified them to two types. We call these vertical parabolas when they are open up or down. طبعا we started with the unshifted case when the origin is at the origin, the vertex is at the origin, 0 and 0. Always the focus is inside the parabola. This is the case when it is when p is greater than 0. This is when p is less than 0. Notice that the focus is 0 and p. The directrix is y equals to negative b. If the parabola is horizontal, طبعا opens up the right if p is positive, left if p is negative. Again, of course, we're still working with the unshifted case. This is the equation. Notice here that y is squared and here x is squared. The focus here, it is on the x-axis, so it is b and 0, and the directrix is vertical line, x equals to negative b. What is that, Ya Faisal? What you are doing, Ya Faisal? Mute your mic, Ya Faisal. I will mute you. Okay, now we have, Shabab, solved so many examples in the previous class. If you remember, we have this example, example 1, example 2. طبعا always you have to write the equation in the standard form and then decide after that. We have solved also these 4 exercises. We have, I think, stopped here. No, we continue this, but let me start it over again. When we have the shifted case, of course, previously the origin, the vertex, it was here at the origin, h and k were 0 and 0. Now we have h and k, where h and k here, for instance, they are positive numbers. Now, what will be the change now? Of course, now the axis will be a vertical line, so it will be x equals to h. This is the axis of the symmetry, the axis of the parabola. Now, of course, always the focus, it is here, it is inside the parabola. Always the focus is here. It is here. It is here. Okay. The focus here, who can tell me what will be the focus? If the vertex is h and k, the focus, this focus will be what?
Which one? It's going to be 0 and p.
This one, 0 and b? No, this will be 0 and b if the center, if the vertex at the origin.
0 plus h and 0.
You would add
p plus k.
Just here, if it is like this, this will be, of course, 0 and b. Here you will add h and k.
Yeah, I didn't see h. This.
So it will be what? It will be h, the same as this. Just here also it is k, but you will add b. So it will be this. Now the directrix, ya shabab, the directrix will be here. Will be, let's say, where it is. Let me remove this from here and write it here over here. This line is x equals to h. The directrix will be here, a line here, a horizontal line. What it will be? It will be y equals to what? Here, previously, it was y equals to negative p. Now it will be negative p plus k. Just like that. This is the case if we have horizontal, vertical parabola. If we have horizontal parabola, what would be the change? The focus here will be what? It was previously p and 0. Now it will be h plus p and k. The directrix will be here. It will be a vertical line. It will be x equals, previously it was negative p before the shifting. After the shifting, it will be negative b plus h. H is the coordinate, the x coordinate. K is the y coordinate. There is something that I'd like to mention here, Shabab. What will be the domain? Let's take this one, for example. What is the domain of here? The x values. X start from where to where? You can look at the graph.
K to negative infinity.
From negative infinity to infinity, ya shabab. X can go from negative infinity to infinity, x. The range, what is the range? The
Negative
range y,
K.
look at y. From negative infinity to k closed. Right. Here, what about this one? Let's take before this one, let's take the another side here. For this one, the domain is still all the real numbers, but the range here is the opposite. It is from k to infinity. For this one here, let's start with this one. What is the domain? The domain here, what?
H to infinity.
To infinity, and the range is from negative infinity to infinity. Y can goes from negative infinity to infinity. Here the domain is from negative infinity to h, and the range is still from negative infinity to infinity. So this is just, I'd like to mention it because I think we didn't mention that in the previous class. So when we have a vertical parabola, this is the standard form of the equation. X is squared. When it is horizontal, this is the standard form. Always, ya shabab, the distance between the focus and the vertex, it is the absolute value of b. Don't forget that. Look here, the distance from here to here, it is the absolute value of b. Similarly here, or here, shifted or unshifted, this property will still the same. And we have solved this example at the end of the previous class. If you remember, we just need to complete the square for x. Then we write it in the standard form to compare it with this form. You can know that h is 2, 4b is 4, 4b is 8, so b is 2, and k is 3. So this is ya shabab h and k. This is the vertex. And of course, if you have the vertex, you have everything. You have 8. So 4b is 8, b is 2. Now you will just, to find the other issues, you will just consider b with the vertex, together with the vertex. For example, the focus, let me show you the graph. The focus, the vertex is the 2 and 3. And of course, it is vertical. The focus will be above because it opens up. Here, p is positive, so it opens up. So you will add 2 vertically. So x values are the same over this line. What will be the change? The change will be on the y values. So the y value here is 3. The y value here will be 5. Why? Because the distance here, the absolute value of b is 2. And similarly, you will go down. So this is 3. You will go down and draw the directrix. So it will be 3 minus 2, which will be 1. So this is negative b plus k. This is y equals to negative p plus k. Here the coordinates are h and p plus k. Okay. Now we have summarized this, shabab, in the previous class. This is when the vertex is 0 and 0. This is unshifted, and this is the shifted. What will, if you look at these two equations, look at this equation and this equation and compare it here. What we did, we just replace x by x minus h and y by y minus k. Look at what is the axis of symmetry here. It is x equals 0. Here it is y equals 0. Here it will be h and k. The vertex h and k. The focus, look at the focus. It is h and k plus b. Here it was what? It was what? The focus was 0 and b. We just add h and k. Just add h and k. Similarly here, the directrix without shifting, it is negative b. With shifting, it is negative b plus k. Here it is negative b plus h. H is for x coordinates and k for y coordinates. Of course, if p is positive, it opens up or right, right in the case of horizontal, and down on left. The definition is still the same, Shabab. The distance between any point and the focus is the same as the distance between that point and the directrix. Let's practice by solving this exercise together, please. Take a pen and paper, Shabab, and start think and practice. Write an equation for this parabola with vertex 1 and 3 and focus negative 1 and 3 and graph it, give the domain and the range. Okay, who can tell me, Shabab, is it a vertical or horizontal parabola?
Vertical.
Vertical.
Oh.
Horizontal. Vertical.
How?
Sorry, horizontal, doctor, sorry. Because the focus is on the left side.
I need to go to the XY plane to make sure about it. So let's draw the vertex. The vertex, it is 1 and 3. 1 and 3. So here it is. This is the vertex. Okay. The vertex is this one. This point, 1 and 3. The focus is negative 1 and 3. Negative.
This left side.
Negative 1. Let's say this one. Negative 1 and 3. So it is here. This is the focus. So now they are on horizontal line. And you know, Shabab, when you have a parabola, this is the vertex, this is the focus. Always, if it is like this, this is the vertex, this is the focus. Okay? Always the focus is inside. So it is like this. It opens to the left. So it is horizontal. So we can say that it is horizontal parabola and opens to the left. What is the meaning that it opens to the left, Shabab? What we will conclude, what we know if it is opens to the left. This means what?
The domain from negative infinity to 1.
Not about the domain, about P. What we know about P when it is open, it opens to the left. When it is opens to the left.
Less than 0.
Positive.
P is negative. When it is opens to the left, P is negative. When it opens to the right, P is positive. So we know this tells us that P is negative. Don't forget that. This is the meaning of that it opens to the left. Now, what you need, write the equation. Now, because it is horizontal, what will be the equation, Shabab? Is the equation will be x minus h all squared equals to 4by minus k, or it will be y minus k all squared 4px minus h. What do you think? Is it
Y
second
minus
one.
K.
Is it 1 or 2?
2.
2.
2, because it is horizontal. You're right. So it is this one. So here we are. Now, do we know what is h and k? Yes.
Yes.
This is h. This is k. So now just I will put here 3. Here I will put 1. So now I need to know what is p. What is p?
I think
The-
absolute value. Absolute
negative
value,
two.
negative 1 to minus 1.
The distance, always the distance between the vertex and the focus, it is what?
1.
Absolute value of p.
That is
Always the distance between them. So now this point, ya Shabab, is what? This point here is negative 1 and 3. So what is the distance from negative 1 to 1? From 1 to negative
2.
1? So the absolute value of p, let me write it here. The absolute value of p, it is equals to 1 minus minus 2, or minus minus 1, which will be 2. Yes, the distance from here to here is 1. From here to here it is 1, so it is 2. Now the absolute value of p, it is 2. This means that p is positive or negative 2. But we know, ya Shabab, that p is what?
Negative.
Negative. So what is b?
Negative
P
2.
is what? P is negative 2. The absolute value of -2 is 2. Okay, so we will go back to the equation now and we will write it like what? 4 multiplied by -2, x minus 1. So it will be -8x minus 1. This is the equation. This is the equation that we are looking for. What he asked for, graph it, we already graph it. The domain and the range, what will be the domain and the range?
Domain is gonna be from negative infinity to 1.
To 1,
Close.
and all the real numbers.
دكتور بس اللي هو على النيجاتيف ساين على
Sorry?
البي على البي إذا هو نيجاتيف ولا بوزيتيف. متى أحطه نيجاتيف متى أحطه بوزيتيف؟ لما أن يكون left side ولا down side خليه نيجاتيف.
If P is positive, it opens up. Or if it is negative, it opens down. This is if it is vertical.
إيه.
P is positive, here P is negative.
يعني لما يكون على down ولا left.
Right. If it opens to the right, P is positive. If it opens to the left, P is negative.
قصدي في الإيكويشن لما يكون down or left I put the P negative صح؟
Well, this is what I said.
أوكي بس حبيت أتذكر.
Okay, Shabab, we have, you have so many exercises to practice, and with the final answer, you can check your answer if it is correct or not. You can also practice, because I know that there is no enough number of all the exam questions about this chapter. Also, we will not have any quiz about this chapter. So you need to practice and check your final answer at the end. Now, let's practice together by solving some old exam questions. إيش رأيكم يا شباب? Please take a pen and paper and start practice. I will give you 2 minutes to solve this question. The vertex and the directrix of this parabola is or are given by. يعني ابدأ بالvertex. What is the vertex of this parabola? يلا يا شباب, let me launch polling for you to choose. You can choose now the right answer. Remember, ya shabab, that we have two standard forms. We have x minus h all squared equals to 4p y minus k, or y minus k all squared equals to 4p x minus h. You need to decide which one of these two forms is this equation. What do you think, ya shabab? Is it 1 or 2?
It's 1, Doctor.
It is 1, but it is not in the same form. You have to do something to write it in the same form.
We have to
Multiply
divide
by
it.
16.
Yes, this is, ya shabab, the trick in this question. If you realize this trick, if you multiply both sides by 16, you will have it in the standard form. Now, this is exactly the same as this. So this is the first trick that you need to do. So if there is a hint for this question, is write it in the standard form by multiplying both sides by 16. Now you know what is h, what is k, what is 4b. So you can find everything now.
دكتور في بول
Yes.
أنا مش ظاهر عندي.
I can see 4 students answered so far. It is clear, Shabab, now what is H and K. So the vertex which is H and K is what? H is -4.
-4 and 4.
And K is 4. So now you can say clearly that this answer is not, it is not a choice. So this is not a choice. And this is not a choice. So A and D are not answers. Of course, they are not, they cannot be. We may have P, C, or E. Okay. Now, after finding the vertex, we need to find the directrix. What will be the directrix, Shabab? First of all, you should know that this is what? This is horizontal or vertical? It is vertical ellipse.
Vertical.
Vertical parabola.
Upside.
It is opens up or down?
Up.
Up.
Up. Because P here is positive, so it is up. P, come on. P is positive. It opens up. Good. Now you can know what is P. 4P equals to 16. So this means that P equals to 4. How to know that it is positive or negative, ya Faisal? P here is positive, clearly.
Yes.
16. P is positive. Okay. Now, when you have a vertical, Shabab, what will be the directrix? What is the equation of the directrix? The directrix. Is it y equals or x equals?
Y.
Y equals.
Because it is vertical, the directrix will be horizontal line. So it is y equals. So if there is y, it is all y. لو كان واحد منهم يا شباب x, we will exclude it. So it is y. Y equals what? Do you remember?
Minus P
Negative.
plus K.
Minus negative P plus K. Good. So this will be what? Negative. What is P? 4. Plus K. What is K? 4. It is 0. Y equal to 0 is the directrix. So here it is. So the right answer is B. And 5 students choose this choice. Good. Be careful يا شباب. طبعا you can do that also from the graph يا شباب. You can sketch the graph. Some of you, they prefer to do that from the graph. Like me, for example, I prefer to do that from the graph. How to do that? I can do it يا شباب from the graph by -4 and 4. -4 and 4. Here it is. This is -4. This is 4, for instance. And it opens up because it is vertical and P is positive. So this is -4 and 4. Now the directrix, of course, the focus will be here. The directrix will be a line that the distance between it and between this point is, you will go down like what? What is P? 4. You will go down 4 units. So here you are at 4. So you will be here. The directrix will be y equal to 0, the x-axis. Excellent. Now I will give you another exercise, ya shabab. Please practice by solving this old exam question. And let me relaunch the polling for you to choose. We need a hint here. If there is a hint, what it will be, ya shabab? If you would like to give your colleagues a hint, what will be your hint?
move the y مع بعض والاكس مع بعض وبعدين نسوي الواي سكوير minus 2y اللي هي فاكتور.
No, not factoring.
مربع.
Complete the square يا شباب.
complete the square.
Just the word that I need to hear from you is complete the square. As Rayyan said, combine the y's together, the x's together, and then complete the square for what? We will complete the square for x or for y?
Why?
Why?
For y, of course, because y is squared. So let's apply this hint, ya shabab, here for you, and you will continue. So this will be y squared minus 2y equals to negative 4x minus 9. This is step number 1. Now complete the square, write it in the standard form. The standard form here, ya shabab, will be what? The standard form for such equation will be what? Will be y minus k all squared equals to 4px minus h. This is the standard form that you need to write this equation in. طبعا the question is about the focus, the vertex, directrix, axis of symmetry. Continue يا شباب working. يلا. Continue practicing, please. I can help you here by writing all what you can get from this equation. What is the vertex? The vertex will be what? H and K. The focus?
P.
The focus, because this is horizontal, Shabab. It will be horizontal.
P plus H.
It will be P plus H and K. What else? The directrix will be X equals or Y equals?
X equals minus B plus H.
Yes, you're right. What else? An axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry, because it is horizontal, the axis of symmetry is like this. So it is Y equals to what? K. This is all what you need to know about this horizontal parabola. We have two answers so far, but unfortunately they are not correct. Be careful, Shabab, when you choose your answer. You have to be sure about it. What is the problem? Everything is in front of your eyes.
دكتور مو عندي البول.
Why?
ما ادري بس ما طلع لي هالمره ولا اللي قبل.
Click on pools. What you are using? What is your laptop?
ديسكتوب. ما فهمت كيف.
It should be there.
I
Okay.
don't.
No, I mean you have Windows.
Yes, Windows.
Yes, it should be there. Why not?
I don't know. I have the answer.
Anyway, the target is to practice. Now, what to do, ya shabab? What we will do, we will complete the square. So tell me how to complete the square.
We add 1 to
Y minus 1.
We will add the square of the half of the coefficient of y. The coefficient is -2. The half of it is -1. The square of it is 1. So we will add 1 for both sides. Now this will be y minus 1 all squared, and here we will have -4x minus 8. Now this will be y minus 1, y minus 1. What is wrong with this? Let me write it this way. Y minus 1 all squared equals to -4. We will take -4 as a common factor. The coefficient of x must be equals to 1. and negative over negative, it will be positive 2. So now this is the standard form. Check by expanding -4, -8. It is correct. Some of you, they are doing mistakes here in this step. Be careful. Now compare it, ya shabab, with this. Just compare with the standard form. Y minus k all squared equals to 4b x minus h. Just you need to do that. So this means what? That the vertex h and k is what? -2 and what? And 1. H. This means that h is -2, k is 1. And of course, this means that C is not a choice.
إيه.
So if you choose C, you are not right. وعندنا 5 students اختاروا C. There are 5 students, they stuck in this choice, wrong choice. Why? I know why. Because you said 1 and 2 and -2. يعني فكرتم بالواي قبل. يا شباب, when we have a point in the plane, it is ordered pair. Here you have x, here you have y. Not the opposite. You said 1 and -2, so it is a trick indeed. Be careful. Okay, so C is not a choice, and most of you are wrong. طبعا, how many answers we have? 7 only. Where are the 10 students, the other 10 students, what they are doing? Now, so it is not about the vertex. Now, what we can know, Shabab, from here, we know that 4p, it is -4. This is 4b. Okay. 4b is -4, so p is -1. So, of course, it is clearly horizontal parabola, and it opens to the left, if you want to have more about it. Now, since it is -1, what we can do easily when we have that, I think we can find the directrix. What will be the directrix? The directrix will be x equals to -p plus h. What is it? Negative p, it will be -1, so it will be 1. Plus h is -2, so it will be what? -1. This is the directrix, and this is the right answer. The directrix is x equals to -1. Let's take another exercise if we have time for that. But of course, ya shabab, you can find the foci by the axis of the symmetry. By the way, this is very wrong, ya shabab. From the beginning, this is not true. The axis of the symmetry, it is y equal k, not x. It cannot be vertical line, ya shabab, the axis of symmetry. لما يكون عندك horizontal, الأكسس of symmetry يكون horizontal, مو vertical. هذا vertical line. But this is from the beginning, you should exclude it. بالنسبة للفocus, how to find the focus for this one? If you want to find the focus, يا شباب, how to find the focus? Here it is. الفocus راح تكون P plus H and K. So it will be what? -1 plus -2 and K. What is K? K is 1. So it will be -3 and 1. -3 and 1. Not this one, not this one. Please, ya shabab. Yalla, please try to solve this, the last one. The equation of the parabola with focus -3 and 2, with vertex -3 and -1. Horizontal or vertical, ya shabab? Is this parabola vertical or horizontal?
Vertical.
-3 and 2. Negative, let's say this is -3 and 2. This is 2. This is the focus. and the vertex is -3 and -1. So this is -1, this is 2. So this is the focus, this is the vertex. Now, when you have it like this, is it vertical or horizontal? It opens up or down?
Up.
Up, of course, ya shabab. This is the vertex, this is the focus. The focus is always inside. So it is like this. And this is the axis of the parabola. So what we have here vertical parabola. Opens up or down? Ups. It opens up, and P is positive because it opens up. Now this point here, this point F, it is -3 and 2. And this point here, which is the vertex, it is -3 and -1. So the distance from here to here, what is it? This is the absolute value of P. So the absolute value of P equals to what? What is the distance from this point to point? What is the distance from 2 to -1? It will be 2 minus -1, it will be 3. So the absolute value of P is 3, and P is positive. P is positive. So this means that P is what? Is 3. Now we have P, ya shabab. Because this is vertical, we said that it is vertical. It is vertical parabola. Vertical parabola. What is the equation of the vertical parabola? X minus h all squared equals to 4py minus k. I have h and k, so it is x minus h. What is h? Here it is. This is h, this is k. The coordinates of the vertex. So h is -3, so this will be +3, equals to 4b. What is b? b is 3, so this will be 12. Y minus k, k is -1, so it will be plus. Negative, it will be positive 1. Now this is the standard form. This is the equation. He is asking about the equation of this parabola, but if you look at the choices, they are not written in the standard form. They are written in the general form. So what we will do, we will expand it. X squared plus 6x plus 9 equals to 12y minus 12. So simplify more, x squared plus 6x minus 12y. Here we will have, this is plus y minus, we will have -3 equals to 0. So this is the equation in the general form. Which equation, which answer you would think is the right answer? Clearly that it is B. Check. X squared minus 12 plus 6 minus 3. Yes, it is B. That's it, ya shabab. I think this is enough. We practiced and solved so many examples and exercises on 12.1 just to get you familiar with such concepts. I think it is time now to say goodbye for 12.1, goodbye for parabolas, and we will move inshallah to 12.2 to talk about ellipses. Where it is, let's see. The slides of 12.2. Okay, ready to go to 12.2, ya shabab? We still have like 20 minutes. So what is 12.2 is about? It is about ellipses. What is the ellipse? Geometrically and algebraically. And how to sketch its graph and find its equation. And we will see together, inshallah, maybe next class, the eccentricity of an ellipse. And also next class, we will discuss the shifted ellipses. We will start with the unshifted, with the typical case. So before talking about ellipses, ya shabab, I'd like to talk about circles. Do you remember how we define the circle? It is the set of all the points in the plane that they have equidistance from a fixed point that is called the center. This is the circle. طبعا when we have a circle like this, we call this diameter, and this is diameter. Indeed, the ellipse, the circle is a special case from the ellipse. So the ellipse is a generalization for circles. Indeed, in the case of ellipse, you have also this diameter, but it is not called diameter. It is called major axis. And we have another axis here that we call it minor axis. Now, if the major axis equals the minor axis, what will happen? Instead of having this shape, we will have this shape, which is a circle. So if we have an ellipse with major axis equals to minor axis, then we have a circle. Now, the question is, what is the definition, the geometric definition of the ellipse? So what is common? What is common between these points? These points that they are on the ellipse, there is something, of course, make them special from other points on the plane. Here we are. This is the definition of the ellipse. The ellipse is the set of all the points in the plane that the sum of whose distances from two fixed points is a constant. If you take this point for an instant, or this point, or whatever, if you take if you calculate the distance from that point to a fixed, let's start with fixed points here. If you calculate this distance, let's call it D1, and this distance, let's call it D2. If you calculate D1 and D2, and then you add them, you will get a constant. You will get a number, a fixed number always. If you take this point and calculate also the distances, you will get the same constant. So wherever these points are, the fixed points, the two fixed points are called foci or foci, you can pronounce it. It is the plural of focus. So here we have two, instead of one focus, we have two foci. The question now, this is the geometric definition. Now the question is algebraically how to find its equation. What is the equation of the ellipse? How to find it? طبعا I will not go over that with details, just I will summarize it for you. So what we will do, we will take this ellipse and we will draw it on the XY plane, in the XY plane. So we will put these two fixed points, which they are the foci, we will put them on the x-axis. And we will say, for example, this is C and 0, and this is negative C and 0. They are symmetric because the point here at the middle, it is the center. Okay, now D1 and D2, these two distances, the sum of them must be equals to constant, as we said before. Now the question is, what is this constant? To find an answer for this, what we will do, we will call مثلا هاي البوينت, it is on the x-axis, and this point it is on the x-axis. Let's say this point it is مثلا A and 0. This point here it is negative A and 0 because it is symmetric. So here we are. These are the points. Now يا شباب, this point here, it is on the parabola. Sorry, it is not a parabola. We are talking about an ellipse. So it is on the ellipse. Let me draw it here much clearer for you. This is A. Here we have C. And here we have 0. Here we have negative C. Here we have A. Yes.
Focus is as the same as foci or foci.
Sorry?
Focus is the same as foci.
The plural. When you have one focus, when you have two, this is the plural of focus.
Okay. Okay.
Now what is the distance يا شباب from here to here؟ لأن الآن احنا قلنا هذه من هنا لهنا راح تكون D1 ومن هنا لين هنا المسافة من هاي البوينت إلى عند الفوكس الأولى D1 ومن هنا لين another focus it is D2. مين يقول لي D1 إيش هي؟ What is the distance from here to here؟ A minus C يا شباب. ما هي محتاجة كلام. ومن A ومن from this point to this point what is it?
A plus C.
A minus C it will be plus C. Now لما نيجي نجمعهم يا شباب D1 plus D2 ايش راح يصير؟ يجمعوا هاي مع هاي.
C حيروح. We'll have to A.
إذا الكونستانت اللي كنا نسأل عنه هنا what is it؟ هو 2A. هذا هو 2A. الديستنسز لو حسبت أنا الآن الديستنس from here to here and from here to here and I add them I will get 2A. What is A? A is the coordinate of this line that we will call it vertex. This is the point A and 0, negative A and 0. These points, we will call them vertices, vertex. This is vertex number 1, this is vertex number 2. بمعنى آخر, it is the length of the major axis. لو واحد يا شباب, the length of this line. What is the length of this line? اللي هو major axis, 2A. من هنا لين هنا A, من هنا لين هنا A. So the sum of these 2 points will be the length of the major axis. Now, by using the distance formula, you know that this will be the square root of x minus C, it will be plus C. Y minus 0, it will be Y. And similarly, x minus C, and here Y minus 0. Now, I will leave this for you. I will not do that. You can move this to the other side, square both sides, do whatever. You will end up with something like this at the end. You will end up with x squared over a squared, هذه هي A, plus y squared over c squared, اللي هي هاي c squared minus a squared, or the opposite indeed. A is bigger. A squared minus c squared equals to 1. This is what you will get at the end. We will call this, ya shabab, b squared. As we see here, we will get at the end this, after the simplification, طبعا, where b squared, it is a squared minus c squared. This equation now, it is the equation of this parabola. هذا الgeometrical shape, this is this one, this ellipse has this equation. What is a squared and b squared and c squared? They are the parameters. A squared, the relationship between them, it is this one. A squared is the bigger one, of course. If you want more details about that, you can see your textbook, Shabab, for how, from where we obtain it. But now we can see that the ellipse crossed the x-axis at these 2 points. We will call them vertices. This is vertex number 1, this is vertex number 2. So what are the coordinates of the vertices, ya shabab? A and 0, negative A and 0. طبعا this is when we have this equation. We are talking about this equation now. Now the line segment that's joining them, it is called the major axis. This is the major axis, the longer one. The length of it is 2A. This side, this major, the another axis, this axis, it is called the minor axis, and its length, it is 2B, and which they are, of course, the y-axis intercepts for this ellipse. Notice that the major axis is always longer than the minor axis. Why is that? Because A is greater than B. A greater than B. So this is why the major axis will be always greater than the minor axis. What is the origin? What is the center of the? This is the center of the ellipse. It is the origin. طبعا this is the case of the unshifted one. This is interesting, ya shabab. What will happen if A equals to B? Here, if this is also A squared, what will happen? It will be a circle. Look, you will multiply both sides by A squared, so you will have x squared plus y squared equals to A squared. And this is equation of a circle with the radius equals to A and center at the origin. So this shows that the circle is a special case of an ellipse when the major axis is the same as the minor axis. Let's summarize what we have done before, ya shabab, for the 2 cases. Let me start with the case that we have deal with here. It is let's give it a name. I'd like to give this a name, Shabab. What do you think? When we have it like this, and when we have it like this, what is the name that we can give for? Is it okay to call this horizontal ellipse?
Yes.
And this one we will call it vertical ellipse. I think this is fair. I think you will understand what I mean if I say that. In fact, it is not difficult. Look at the measure axis. The measure axis here is horizontal. The measure axis here is vertical. So it is easy for us to remember. Now we will call this one horizontal ellipse, this one vertical ellipse. Good. So now for the horizontal ellipse, this is the equation. What is it? X squared plus y squared equals to 1 over a squared b squared. A is always greater than b, and all of them are positive. In both cases, by the way. This is not just for horizontal, it is for all. Type. What is the difference? If you look at the equation, Shabab, here, and this equation, what is the difference between them? All of them are x squared plus y squared, x squared plus y squared. The difference is, if it is horizontal, a squared, it is under x. If it is vertical, a squared, it is under y. So this is if it is horizontal. If it is vertical, it will be b squared and a squared here, and here y squared plus x squared equals to 1. Come on, this is the opposite. I'm talking about this is the vertical, this is the horizontal. The opposite. Again, you have to be careful. We have agreed that this is the horizontal, this is the vertical. Okay? So why is that, ya Shabab? How to know? Because always the bigger, look, the bigger denominator, A is bigger. So the bigger denominator is under what? Under X. So it is horizontal. You know that X axis is horizontal. Now, when the bigger denominator is under Y, Y is vertical, so it is vertical ellipse. This is how to recognize that it is horizontal or vertical. Look at the bigger denominator. بالنسبة للvertices يا شباب, if it is horizontal, they will be on the x-axis, so they will be what? A and 0, negative A and 0. The same, the foci will be C and 0, negative C and 0. In the case of the vertical ellipse, it will be 0 and A, 0 and negative A, and 0 and C, 0 and negative C. The most important, ya shabab, relationship between here, it is this one. What is the relationship between A, B, and C? Here it is. C squared equals to A squared minus B squared. Okay? This will be not, of course, the same when we take 12.3. You will see that later. So the definition, Shabab, if you remember, if we take a point here, the distance from this point to these other points will be equals to 2A. A squared is the larger denominator and B squared is the smaller. So to find C squared, we subtract the larger from the smaller. Remember that. This will help you to remember or to memorize this relationship between these three parameters. Let's take an example. We have here an ellipse given by its equation. Find the foci, the vertices, the lengths of major and minor axes, and sketch the graph. Who can tell me here? Is it HE or VE?
Horizontal.
Is it horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
How you know that it is horizontal?
The great number is under the X.
Yes, yes, and yes. So this is A squared, and this is B squared. The bigger denominator is under X. So it is, X is horizontal. So this is horizontal. So this will tell me that it looks like this. My ellipse will be centered at the origin, and here we have the vertices, here we have the foci. So this is vertex number 1, vertex number 2, focus number 1, focus number 2, and this is 0. Of course, this will help me a lot. Now I know what is a squared and b squared. I can find c squared. What is c squared? It will be a squared minus b squared. So it will be what? 9 minus 4, it will be 5. So I have a, b, and c. A will be what? 3. B will be what? 2. Why? Because it is the square root of 9 is 3. When you take the square root, A is always positive. We say that A is greater than B, greater than 0. C will be square root of 5. The coordinate of the vertices will be A and 0, negative A and 0. Here we will have C and 0, negative C and 0. And you have C, you have all of them. So easy, Shabab. So this is A, this is B, this is C. The foci will be square root of 5 and 0, negative square root of 5 and 0. The vertices will be 3 and 0, negative 3 and 0. The length of the major axis. What is the length of the major axis? 2a. And what is a? 3. What is the length of the minor axis? It will be 2b. Just multiply by 2. And this is the graph of this ellipse. Clear? Let's take another exercise. Find the foci of the ellipse given by this equation and sketch its graph. Now, is it horizontal or vertical? Can you know?
No.
What you should do first, ya shabab, you should write it in the standard form, like this: a squared over b squared, or b squared here and a squared here. We don't know. So first of all, we should divide both sides by 144. We make this, the right-hand side must be equals to 1. So here we will divide by 144, 144. So what we will get? If we did that, this is what we will have. 1. This will be 9 over 144. 144, it is 9 multiplied by 16. So 9 will go with 9 and you will have 16. And now here you will have 9. Now what do you think? Is it horizontal or vertical?
Vertical.
Look, this is a squared. This is b squared. So it is what? Vertical ellipse. It will be like this on the y-axis. Okay, so this will help you a lot, ya shabab. So this means that you know that this will be the vertex number 1. This is focus number 1. This is the center, focus number 2, and vertex number 2. Now this is 0. Here what you will have? You will have here 0 and C. Here 0 and negative C. Here you will have 0 and negative A. Here you will have 0 and A. So easy. He wants just the foci here. So what will be the foci, Shabab? The foci will be what? The two foci will be what? Positive and negative C and 0, or 0 and positive or negative C? What do you think?
Second one.
Second one. So it will be 0 and positive and negative C. All what you need to do is to find C. What is C? So C squared will be what? A squared minus B squared. The bigger minus the smaller. So it will be 16 minus 9. What is it? 7. So C is square root of 7. So this means that the foci are positive or negative square root of 7. Of course, you need to sketch the graph if you want. It is not difficult at all. We will stop here and continue next class, inshallah. If you have any questions, please, you are welcome to ask.